boys?
Well, we have got a dinner later going on. Me and Joey D. That Fat Prez hooked up, and if we don't get there at a certain point, this guy's
No problem.
kill us.
No problem. No
This
problem.
guy's gonna fucking kill us. Because when it comes to Fat Prez making plans, if we're not there, you get the
listen,
treatment.
I get
So
it.
welcome back to another edition of the Sportsmen. We got Mikey V up there in his Adidas best. We've got Joey D down there. You know what he's all about, and I'm the big ticket. We're gonna just jump right into it, man. I think there's no other way to start. I mean, I'd love to go to the NBA playoffs, but I flipped the coin before this thing. I think we go to Brooks Koepka. I think we go to the PGA. I think we start there. And I know that you sort of covered the controversy on the Brilliantly Dumb show, but let's just start with Mikey V and his borderline obsession with this absolute.
Mikey there's no obsession with Koepka. I just happen to really like him, and I really like him for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think he was years ago, before he got hurt in 18-19 when he was winning majors back then, I knew his name well back then, and it's kind of like he fell off the face of the earth for a while. That's at least the vibe I got, and you didn't hear about him as prevalent as you do now. And then to see him go to live and get demonized, and I think the Netflix thing really kind of demonized him even further, which, okay, I get it. He definitely comes off. Listen, to me, right, a guy like Koepka, to me, I grew up with a lot of guys from Jersey, New York, who were big-time douchebag, alpha male types. So to me, I just don't get as offended by that as maybe it doesn't come off. I'll say that it doesn't come off as offensive to me as it may to other people that aren't from this area of the country. And I'm not saying that any of you fall into that category. I'm saying for the general public. So to me, I don't have any problem rooting for a guy like Koepka. And then what he did at the Masters after he had won that live event shortly before, what he did at the Masters, I thought was spectacular. I thought he was going to run away with it. The delay and Rahm being on his heels, that's like the worst guy. We talked about that last night, Joey. Like when you have a guy like Rahm or Scheffler right at your heels, like those are the worst two guys you want right behind you chasing you because they're like robots. But to see him do what he did again on Sunday and to actually not only contend for both majors so far this year, but to win one and then finish second in the other. I mean, the guy's a fucking unit, man. He's a fucking animal. Like, I just respect the shit out of it. I think he's awesome. I think it's great for the game. As a guy who's not as involved with the game of golf as you guys are, I personally think that the whole live PGA thing now is becoming so fascinating. You got PGA's top guy, arguably, in Rahm winning the Masters. Now you got Liv's top guy. I don't think there's any argument in Koepka winning the PGA. And now we'll see what happens. The Players is the Players next, or is the U.S. Open?
No, the U.S. Open.
Players isn't a major. The U.S.
Open is in June, middle to end of June.
Right.
And that's going to be interesting. I listen. Here's the thing. I'm not anti-Brooks. I think it's very interesting to see now, as you mentioned, two majors have come and gone.
You're anti-Brooks, Joe. You're anti-Brooks.
I'm not a Brooks Koepka fan. I'm not. Bob definitely hates him. I'm not like, I don't hate him. I don't. No. I'm gonna make something very clear.
Like I don't.
You're an anti-Brooks guy. I'm not
a big Brooks guy. 100%. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that I hate him. Bob has the history behind it. Sure. I'm not a big Brooks fan. I do think he's a little pompous. But Mikey V's right. The guy knows how to win. I think the biggest thing that we need to discuss right now is we've had two majors come and go now. And for all intents and purposes, for the Live Tour being considered a farce or not really, on par with the PGA Tour, you got to look at the final standings here. In the Masters, you had Brooks and Phil Mickelson come second. You had Patrick Reed come fifth. And now in the PGA Championship, Brooks wins the whole thing, much to the chagrin of the entire PGA Tour community. And Bryson, who was far removed, who had been playing dog shit, comes fifth as well. So I think at some point you got to start looking at these guys and be like, listen, you might not like the Live Tour, you might not think it's good, but there's a reason they spent the money that they did on some of these golfers which, by the way, Cam Smith came top 10 too. And once that guy starts getting going, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts up a fight in the US Open or even in the British Open to end it all off. So lots to talk about in golf. Ticket, I wanted to ask you about something. I wanted to get your take on this because it's caused a huge stir in the golf community. This whole thing with Michael Block. I want to know, do you think that it's getting overhyped? Do you think that it is, I mean, I feel personally, I think it's a great feel-good story. My concern is this guy's now just got invited to the Charles Schwab. I think he's going to shoot a zillion. If I'm betting, and no offense to this guy, all the eyes of America are now on this guy. That's more pressure than this guy's ever seen. I am fading the fuck out of
were
this.
the eyes of America not on him on Sunday?
Not for the first 2 days.
No, on Sunday, and the guy dunked a fucking hole in one.
Quickly before we get to Michael Block, I just want to say with the Brooks Koepka thing, I fucking hate his guts. I think
why? Why?
Because he's a piece of shit, and I thought about
why is he a piece of shit though?
Because he's such a dick to everybody, man.
Is he though? I just haven't seen that.
He is such a smug bastard all the time. Mikey V, do you have an opinion about a football player that you've just seen the way he acts on the field? You must have. Remember Atari? You had an opinion about Atari. Like, you must have.
Atari.
I will say,
or Adam Jones, Atari Jones,
Pac-Man Jones.
Atari Jones.
I'm thinking of Atari. I'm thinking of the Packers player. Who's the Packers player? Atari
Bigby.
Atari Bigby, the old guy.
Yeah, that's from a long time ago.
Oh, is that the guy who slammed? Is that the guy who slammed Jim McMahon?
My point is,
I mean, that guy fucking ended his career. He's a scumbag. He should fucking rot. I mean,
my point is, you have an opinion about a guy just based on the way he plays the game.
I'll give an example.
I said about Brooks Koepka. So my point is, I just hate his guts. But where I really want to go is, I think Mikey V likes to needle. I think Mikey likes to needle at Bob because he knows he doesn't like him. He knows that we all don't like him. He knows that most of the golf community doesn't like him. So he likes to needle.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that. That everyone thinks the guy's. I guess I just don't see how he's. Whatever. I'll
give you one example, Mikey V.
Go ahead.
So Brooks was bitching and complaining because Patrick Cantlay, the last tournament in the majors, in the Masters, he took forever to golf, right? So they interviewed
the Masters,
Yes.
And then he said
they interviewed him. They were talking about. He said you should be penalized for it.
Yes,
then
I saw
in the PGA Championship, one of the rounds, I don't know if it was the first or second round, Brooks would not putt because there were some leaves on the green. He made the whole gallery wait for him to putt until two guys came out with the leaf blowers and blow like 3-4 leaves off the fucking
games from Brooks.
Yeah, I mean that's
not mind games, Mikey V. Mikey V. If Joey D did that when you're playing golf with him, you'd
he'd lose it.
I would love. I really. Yeah. No, you're probably not wrong. I mean, I would definitely laugh about it. But
and then Mikey,
I get it. Like Rogers was kind of like that guy for me. Like I really, really despised Aaron Rodgers.
I think
for a long time.
A lot like Aaron Rodgers. I think they're both cocky. They're both arrogant. They're just full of themselves.
Here's the thing with Rodgers. I finally there came a point where I just gave up and I was like, all right, whatever. Like we're just never going to beat this guy. We're just never going to beat him. I just gave up. So like at that moment when I kind of just accepted it, I stopped hating him so much. And I just, I just kind of was like, all right. And now that he's out of Green Bay, I got to be honest. Like I'm looking forward to watching the Jets. Like I really hope that the Jets win,
man.
He's got some listen, the guy, but that's my whole point. Listen, if you're going to be like that, you have to go out there and not just be good. You got to be the cream of the crop. And I think Koepka has proven that he is that. And
he is.
Rodgers certainly has proven that, minus the fact that he needs
a little bit of you love that no one likes him anymore, and
there's nothing wrong with that. To be honest,
you're doing a little bit of needling, Mike.
I will say this.
I truly am not like trying to go out of my way to needle Bob. Like I really
your
am not.
Tweets. You were tweeting every 20 minutes.
I like tweeting, live tweeting. I love live tweeting in the big golf events. People love it.
Fair enough.
People fucking love it. People fucking love it, and
I will say
it's fun.
this. I will say this. is if you're going to talk the talk like Brooks is, then you got to back it up. Yeah. And no one can deny what he's done. And by the way, after his performance in the last 2 majors, if he even plays decent in the US Open, he's gonna have to be on the Ryder Cup team.
That's such bullshit. Because Joe, I got in your ass too when we were watching the major at a buddy of ours' house, and you were like, "Yeah, man, this guy he's just so good." But there was a 3-year period where this guy just became a choke artist. And all of a sudden, just because he got his 5th major, people are like, he's one of the best of all time. This guy choked at every major.
He's not even 35 yet. He's got 5 majors. There's only a few guys who've ever done that. He's in the company of Tiger Woods, Mickelson,
Jack, right?
Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
But
he was a mental midget for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, for him to do what he did at the Masters, and then to be in the same spot again on Sunday and not choke it. I don't know, bro. Like, it's just, but he should have won the fucking Masters too. What if he had won the Masters? What would you be saying now, Ticket?
And not only that,
let's say he held Rahm off for the Masters. Let's just hypothetically, he holds Rahm off for the Masters, wins by a stroke, and then wins the PGA. What do you say then? What could you say then?
Mikey V, being chased down by Jon Rahm is different than being chased down by Victor Hovland.
I agree. I agree.
That's like the Packers being chased down by Jacksonville Jaguars as opposed to, the fucking Philadelphia Eagles. It's a lucky draw that Victor Hovland is also a mental midget. And
I said that last night too. I said if Scotty was in the position that Hovland was in, it would have been a lot.
And he would have cracked under the pressure again. This guy is mentally weak.
But Ticket, you have to also understand, his back, he had a lot of health issues as well.
And that's another reason I like him, because I have back problems as well. Well documented. So he's kind of an ambassador for the bad back.
My back is done. It's fucked. I played 9
years. You should like him. He's an ambassador for us.
No, this guy's an arrogant prick. But anyway, we have other things to talk about. I want to move on to where Joey D was trying to get to, this Michael Block thing. I started as a fan, I think, as we all did. I thought it was a great story. It was very interesting. But the more and more he's done, even on that Sunday, the last day, but then even moving towards when all the fame came his way, he's been on every podcast. He's been on a bunch of things. I'll get to my opinion, but bear down. What do you think of this Michael Block? Is he good for golf? Is he bad for golf? Is he doing the best thing he can for himself?
How old is he? 47?
Yeah,
something like that.
He should be wearing tracksuits like you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that, here's the thing. Is it getting overhyped? Yes. Is it getting overcovered? Yes. Is it going to be overblown? Yes. Will it continue until he just becomes irrelevant? Yes. Could that happen very rapidly, like Joe said? I could see that happening also. But am I to deny a near 50-year-old man his moment in the sun when this guy was just teaching lessons for $150? I mean, I paid my instructor $150. I wish my instructor, and no disrespect to my instructor, but Michael Block, I mean, I wish that's a good price. That's a fair market price, it seems to me. So who am I to deny this guy his moment in the sun? I think it's really cool, especially at his age. That's a once-in-a-lifetime type of Cinderella story thing. It's going to be a flash in the pan, I think, like Joe said. Like, this guy isn't just going to all of a sudden become the next greatest golfer, I don't think. But he's having his moment in the sun. It'll pass, and that's why I'm not that aggravated about it, because it's not going to last that long. It's not going to last.
I do agree. I will say he seems like a nice dude. Like, he's taking it.
Seems like he gets after it too, by the way.
He's taking it in grace, by the way. And when he made the hole in one, I thought he was very, very, like, humble about it. Like, he could have been going off, like, very respectable. And I give him all the props. I just think, listen, I watch this guy on Instagram. He is skyrocketed. Like, within a weekend, it's insane. It's nuts. I just think that, like, if I'm a betting man, this weekend, I am absolutely, if he's in a matchup, I'm betting against him. I think he's going to, it's a lot of pressure, man. When you're in the public eye like that, the expectations that people have of you, and to think he's not really, this is really a one-off for him to be there and to do it.
So there's two ways to look at this. If you're Michael Block and you're looking at your career moving forward, if you think that you really have a crack at going for the tour, if you really think you can make some decent money, you don't have to win, but you get in the top 10, you get in the top 20, you make some decent money, stay away from the podcasts. Stay away from Barstool. Stay away from
Bob Menery.
Stay away from Bob Menery.
Oh,
and
my
all
God.
of these podcasts, be as quiet as possible. Take your glorious 4 days that CBS gave you and ride off into the sunset and go to the Charles Schwab.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't.
Well, I have a number 2, Mikey V. Yeah. But if he thinks that this is a moment in the sun, I'm just a tour. I had a really lucky, great weekend. Then bask in the sun, go everywhere, get as many followers as you possibly can. And I guess the only person who knows that is Michael Block. I am speculating that Michael Block does think that he will never have a weekend the way he just did, especially on such a large stage. So more power to him if that's what he really thinks. But that being said, he is entering into the Charles Schwab next week. And, so clearly he thinks that he might have a shot. To be honest, I've been nice. I've been diplomatic. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of this guy. He doesn't talk that great. He's not.
Now, how could you break my balls about rooting for Brooks Koepka when you say you're sick of a guy like Michael Block?
You, Mikey V.
But you're sick of Michael Block, this poor guy who's teaching fucking lessons 2 weeks ago. Well, no one even knew who he was, and now Ticket's sick of him. That's sick.
I will say this.
You said you're sick of him.
Yeah, you're right. I am.
But you know what? It's part of it. It's not even his fault. It's not even.
What? I agree with that, Joe. I agree.
It's not even his fault. It's the media's fault. He's everywhere, and they blow it out of proportion.
One of these stories. He's like Damar Hamlin.
Yeah. I mean, listen. This guy is being thrust into the spotlight, and he's never been there. And like I said, he's older. He probably, to me, Ticket, he's probably thinking number 2 of your 2 options is like, this is it for me. Like, this is my chance. Let me market myself as much as I can. Who knows what can happen from it? If it's not going to be golf, maybe it'll be commentating. Maybe it'll be a full-time podcast. Maybe it'll be
or even if he goes back to teaching, he can charge a fortune on it.
Oh my God, he can charge $500 an hour now.
I'm going to do a Joey D here. I'm going to make an analogy. He's like the King's Speech. If you've ever seen that movie, he's like the king that stutters and can't get a sentence out and can't make a proper thought work. And he needs a guy like Jeffrey Rush to come in here and teach him how to speak and be a better man in front of the camera, because right now he's deplorable. He's deplorable.
That's a bit of a stretch, Tim.
He is. Go, Joe. We talked about this off camera. You know that
I know. Deplorable is a strong word, man.
Tough word. You're right.
So this guy's living the American dream, and he's all of a sudden he's deplorable.
He's sick of this deplorable man.
His speech is deplorable.
Okay, but I will say this. The last thing I'll say about this on my end is it makes you feel good that in today's day and age,
it does.
That being in America, you can still, you can create a name for yourself. And this guy has gone his whole life. He's probably grinded. He's got kids. He's done his whole thing. This is moment in the sun, man. Good for him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's him,
that's my take on it.
I'll leave it with this. I was on my very first Bob Does Sports episode today, and I've never played golf as good as I did today. I don't know how it happened. I'm the most nervous wreck person you could ever meet. I actually struck the ball really well. I made a lot of
fantastic.
And I will say, all this leading back to Michael Block, that is one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. The fact that he dunked that par 3 on that kind of a stage, it just says it was just unbelievable.
And it took me 5 shots to get to the green.
You can. Well, Mikey V, you're still working with the pitching wedge. That's the only club you've ever.
No. Actually, my best shot the other day on the course was actually a fairway wood. Believe it or not, off the turf. That was my best shot of the whole fucking day.
But I'll tell you what, when you strike a ball well and you watch it soar into the distance,
that's
it's
the
one
only
of the
reason
greatest
you go
feelings.
back. It's the only reason you go back. It sure as fuck ain't the worm burners, I can tell you that. God
You know,
knows there's plenty of those.
My favorite thing about golf is like when you strike a ball so well, but it goes way left or way right, and then you just turn to your buddy and you go, I struck it well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
It's usually them saying to you, that was good contact, though.
Yeah.
Good contact.
Man, you're a ball striker. You just got to fix the direction.
Yeah.
All right, boys, let's get to the NBA playoffs because, you know, it hasn't been the best series, I don't think. In hockey and basketball, it's been kind of lackluster, especially coming off the divisional series that we just had. The Lakers got swept. It looks like the Heat are on their way out, or the Celtics are on their way out. The Heat are putting the pressure on, man. I don't know where you want to start. Joey D, I'll give you the floor. Do you want to start with the Lakers? Do you want to start with the Celtics?
I'm gonna start with the Heat first and foremost.
Okay.
We're seeing a guy, you know, and maybe it's not every game him who deserves all the credit. I think Spoelstra deserves a ton of credit.
Yeah, he's good.
He's been in that, to be a coach in that with the same team for that long and to still be successful. It says a lot about you as a coach and your coaching schemes, your ability to adapt, your ability to read the other team's schemes and to play against their strengths with your weaknesses and your weaknesses with their strengths. Spoelstra deserves a ton of credit. But Jimmy Butler, man, this guy, when we talked about him a little bit on the last week's show, this guy has stepped up, man. And it's like every time he comes out on the court, it's like he is just taking over these games. It's very impressive. I think obviously the Celtics won last night. The Heat are going to win this series. No team has ever come down from 0-3.
I pray they do, because we'll never ever hear the end of it if Boston wins this series. We will never. You still haven't heard the end of it from the Red Sox fans with the Yankees. They still bring it up. Meanwhile, they're not going to talk it. They'll bring that up.
One of the most glorious comebacks of all time.
I understand that. But when you're going to talk a 2004 series, okay, do not then tell me when I say 27 championships to 9 that I'm living in the past. Because now that was 20 fucking years ago. Well, so are they. So were they. That was 20 years ago.
Mikey V, you're like those Giant fans who just say like,
no.
Mikey V, I disagree.
Man,
well, living in the past.
By the way, I never bring up the championship argument until the Red Sox fans start running their mouths.
The problem is you just gotta tip the cap sometimes, man. You gotta.
I tipped the cap to the Red Sox that year, and I tipped the cap to the Red Sox the years
after. When
after
people
that.
say the 27 championships, it's like that's not tipping the cap. That's a backhanded.
It is when they continually bring up the 2004 series. When they continue to do that, it becomes that was 20 years ago, guys. Okay, like so let's see now.
Like when they needle you, like you do with the.
You guys are going back and forth tonight. I love it.
I tell you what I'm happy about. I tell you what I'm happy LeBron is bye-bye.
Oh, dude,
can we end the Jordan LeBron argument, please? I have some numbers here. I'm going to read them off very quickly. Okay, 5 less seasons for Michael Jordan. 5 less seasons. 2 more championships than LeBron. 2 more finals MVPs than LeBron, 6-0 in the finals against LeBron's 4-6, 5 league MVPs to 4, defensive player of the year 1 to LeBron 0, 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1, all-star teammates 7 for LeBron, only 1 for Michael Jordan, swept in the playoffs in any series 1 time for Jordan as a rookie, 3 times for LeBron. It's no longer, I don't think it was, to me, Michael Jordan transcended the game of basketball and transcended an entire era and marketing era and sports in general, perhaps. There's no, LeBron walks in his path and he did it better than anyone else. And I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah,
but he is not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to ever grace the court, period. There's no more, I don't think and I'm not a Bulls fan. I'm a Bears fan, but I am not a Chicago Bulls fan. But I'm telling you, there's no debating that, in my opinion. I think now it's got to be dead and dusted.
I'm with
you. I would agree with that too. For the most, I think most people probably would, Mikey V.
I don't know, Joe. There's LeBron defenders out there that they are hard for this
talking about, because if you want to talk a one-on-one match, LeBron just has 100 pounds on him. But if you want to talk about the mentality of the game,
who's the killer? Who's the killer? And I'm not saying LeBron's not a killer. He is. So maybe that's not even a good comparison either, saying who's the killer. Because
but if you want to bring in who's the killer, that also brings in
Kobe,
Iverson in the conversation.
But I will say too, by the way,
Kobe was as close to it. I mean, Kobe was a stone cold killer.
I agree.
Yeah.
I will also say too, guys, you got to remember too, and I'm not trying to defend LeBron, but he's almost getting to 40 years old. So he's at the trail end of his career. And Mikey V, I'm not disagreeing with anything.
No, I get that.
What he still manages to do on a night in, night out basis is pretty fucking remarkable. And again, I think, yes, Jordan's the best player that ever did it, but I think all around LeBron's got to be right up there. It's a second or third best.
I said nobody walked the path like LeBron did. Nobody walked the path.
My issue with LeBron right now is he pouts on the court, and that's
you want to talk about a guy, Ticket, like you said before, who's a guy in sports that you think LeBron is one of them. I think LeBron is a fucking baby.
I mean, what he's done,
fucking baby,
running off the court before the half is done, while his teammates are still on the court, or staying down on the court, trying to get a call, which clearly they're not going to call because the call's done, and his teammates are running up to the offensive side of the ball. Shit like that drives me nuts.
You know, the one place I will defend LeBron is he's a product of what he is a nutshell of what NBA has allowed. Because if LeBron played back when the Pistons were playing in the 90s and the late 80s and the old school where it was still a contact sport.
Against Lambeer and those boys.
Strongest guy who's ever set foot. There was a sports science when the NFL had a lockout 15 years ago. They said I think Calvin Johnson is one of the greatest football players of all time. He has an inch on Calvin Johnson. He was a fraction of a second faster than him.
He was Mr. Ohio for football. He was the best college. He was the best high school football recruit.
This is the greatest athlete that we have ever seen.
Yes.
And the fact that he flops the way that he does is a product of the NBA, not a product of who LeBron James is. The fact
but he didn't always used to do that
as much is says about him. But if you put him in the 90s, this guy would have been a nightmare. But he wasn't. And he is a mental midget. Going back to that, he's a fucking mental midget. He doesn't have the killer instinct. If you go back to the 2014 NBA All-Star game, you can see Kobe getting in his ass because he was not treating it as if it was a normal game, and Kobe is a killer, and LeBron isn't. And Michael Jordan is a killer. And that is why Michael Jordan will always, always be better than LeBron.
But when LeBron was younger, he didn't demonstrate this kind of stuff as
much.
But
as the league got, to Ticket's point, as the league got softer and softer, LeBron in turn got softer and softer, and now he's Mr. fucking Softy.
Well, you get used to getting the calls all the time, and you're going to look for the calls all the time. That's a byproduct of the NBA has.
And by the way, he probably easily could have been one of the best players in the NFL. There's not a day. He was the number one high school football recruit in the country. So there's not a doubt in my mind. If he wasn't going to the NBA,
shit brick house.
And he would have went to Ohio State. We probably.
You know what this makes me appreciate more is it makes me, because he is an all-star and he will almost always get the call, or at least he'll beg for it like a little bitch, like he is Tom Brady could fall a lot more than he did. Tom Brady took some hits. Tom Brady took a few and he still stood up. Tom Brady could have
not towards the end of his career.
Well, you want to talk? You want to talk Jordan level killer? Tom Brady, competitive wise, is a Jordan level.
I'm just saying he could have flopped because the NFL's moving in the same direction. He could have flopped the way LeBron flops and gotten a late call as many times as he wanted to, but he didn't because he is a killer to the same way that Jordan was.
I really pray to God the NFL does not become more like the NBA, because now with this pass interference calls and these the hands, after 5 yards.
They took away the kickoff this week. In effect, they took away the kickoff. It's gone. It's gone
What
now.
do you mean they took it away?
Well, it's the college football rule now. So if you kick off, if any kickoff, if you field it behind the 25-yard line, you make a fair catch, it's automatically advanced to the 25. So you could fair catch it at the kicker could hit a kick to the 2 or 3 yard line. If you wave fair catch, it goes to the 25 automatically.
That's outrageous.
That makes
Why not just let it run into the end zone?
Special teams other than kicking and punting is done. It's over. It's done.
Devin Hester never would have hacked it in this kind of league.
Never would have had a Hall of Fame kind of a career that he did. Should be in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
What about what was the guy who played for the Chiefs?
Dante Hall.
Dante Hall. He was fucking unbelievable.
Do yourself
Josh Cribbs.
Do yourself a favor and go and watch Dante Hall's highlight tape. And I'm recommending that because I'm sure you've seen Devin Hester.
That one kick against the Denver Broncos, I think he ran. I don't even know how many times he ran at one side to the other of the field. It was on one of the greatest plays I've ever watched.
I saw Hester return a fucking 108-yard field goal miss at Giant Stadium.
Man.
He was just, when you watched him in person and you saw how fast he actually was, it was like you never could believe that someone at that level of a sport could be just that much faster than every single guy on the field by a wide margin. It was like watching an alien. Like a Madden player, like he was created in the Madden lab and they just dropped him on the field.
Now, Mikey V, I'm going to ask this because I'm genuinely curious. Why do a lot of these guys like Dante Hall or a Devin Hester, why don't they translate in any other position? Like, why?
It's a great question. The Bears tried Hester at corner.
They did.
They did play him at wideout and he was okay. He just didn't have the route running and he couldn't run the route tree as well as a polished receiver, and he didn't have the hands of like a totally polished receiver. And if you looked at Hester fielding punts and kicks, Devin Hester was known to muff punts a lot. The bonus was if he caught them and secured them and had any space, he was just gone. But that's why I don't think his hands, I think usually it comes back to the hands. Like these guys just don't have the hands of a wideout where it translates like, oh, he's super fast. Like, well, why doesn't Usain Bolt play wide receiver in the NFL? Because he probably got hands like 2 fucking frying pans and he can't run a route tree, which is, that's.
I'll give you an example of a guy who recently panned out and it looked like for years he was never going to do anything from the receiver level. Cordell Patterson.
Yeah. Another big
Falcons.
Bear. He was awesome.
By the way, last year he was hurt, but the year before
he's a great
player. Was unbelievable.
Cordell Patterson
he was playing running back too.
Awesome athlete, awesome guy. I've spoken to him before. Awesome guy, humble as they come, down to earth as they come. He was an X factor. And by the way, one of the biggest, largest human beings I have ever seen in person.
Really?
This guy, bro, I don't know what his measurements are, but whatever it is, he looks twice the size of what he's listed at. He is a fucking beast, But
he's just built like a brick shit house. He was taken pretty high in the draft. He was a high draft pick.
Yeah, he was. Let me see. He was drafted.
Like he was a top 10 guy by the Vikings.
He was drafted.
He was drafted by the Vikings. I don't know if he was
first round by the Vikings. I don't know what number though. First round by the Vikings.
I remember
2013 draft. He's 6'2", 227, and let me tell you, he's every bit of it. He looks like a fucking
freak athlete, and he was a high draft pick. And he didn't turn out for a long time. And then all of a sudden, a year or two ago, he
wouldn't.
Guys, the guy is a 3-time second team All-Pro, 4-time first team All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowl, 2 kickoff return yards leader, 2010 All-Decade team. This guy is
great.
This guy's
didn't he play for the Bears at one point too?
Yeah, he played for the Bears for several years, and he was awesome. He was returning kicks. He was fucking awesome. He was awesome.
I feel like when he went to the Bears was the first time we got to actually see him.
He had a couple good seasons with the Vikings.
Did he? I remember
he kind of broke out with the Pats. I felt like for a year, but The Bears, he kind of went like a little nuclear. And
yeah, I feel like the Vikings.
And went with Atlanta, like Joe said, he had that massive year.
I feel like the
Vikings. I mean, people picked him up off the waiver wire. I was like, this guy's not going to do anything, and he went freaking bananas.
Yeah,
he was lining up under. He was lined up as a running back, and he was fucking putting up tons of yards.
That was the other thing. Like, they tried him at slot receiver. He didn't do much there. He was at running back for a minute. Like that just shows you in practice what a freak athlete this guy was.
He was at the end of the first round, 29th overall pick.
Oh, 29. Okay. Mikey V, do I have a ticket to the Audi Club for the Yankee game? Why haven't? Because
didn't we have this discussion?
We did a long time ago. But the Jet.
Oh no!
Yeah, the Jet took your ticket, I think.
No, Mikey. Because the Jet was like.
But that's Bob. But Bob texted me that the Jet wanted a ticket. Though. He called me and said Jet wanted a ticket.
Why would that take my ticket? Why wouldn't that just be an extra?
This was before we ever spoke, though.
No, because the Jet told me the other day, he was like, yeah, Mikey V invoiced me. He was like, yeah, he asked for money.
Yeah, because Bob was like, can you get the Jet a ticket? I was like, yeah, it's $200.
Yeah, but then we talked on this podcast and you were like, yeah, I got you a ticket. Or do you want a ticket? Or you were like, you want a ticket? I got you a ticket.
Because that was the ticket, though, I think. All right, so we listen.
Real shame.
We will figure this out. This is, by the way, this is not on me. This is not. This is, bro. Take a look at this. Look at this. Look at what I have to do in my life.
Mikey V, I'm not saying that you have a lot to do.
Take a look. Take a look. This is, you know what it's like tracking down 20 people, buying all 20 tickets on your phone?
I know what it's. I'm
let me
always
ask.
The 21st guy. I'm always the 21st guy.
Let me ask: we can look at the section? Maybe there's still tickets.
I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna look right now because that was my question. Because when Bob had mentioned it, Bob had specifically said the Jet. Said the Jet.
No, I know, but Bob aside, we talked about it on here. You were like,
I don't recall that ticket. Is that on film?
You just said we talked about it on here. And I did. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying we did talk about it.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that film.
I gotta say, the back and forth between Mikey V and Ticket tonight has been thoroughly.
Joe loves when it's not me and him going at it. He fucking loves it.
I just know you, Mikey V. You started
this problem. This problem could be over within 5 seconds. By the way, let me just see what's going on here. It could be over in 5 seconds. I'm on Ticketmaster right now.
I'll wait.
No, you got to keep talking. We don't want
keep talking. Yeah.
Well, we can always edit it. I mean, that's why we have Mr. Anderson.
No, I think this is hysterical. I think we should keep this.
We're 227B, right? 227B.
I don't know, Mikey V. I don't have a ticket.
Oh, that's right.
We are 227B.
Oh, that's right. That's correct.
That's a tough look. And I tell you who is going to the Audi Club: Brooks Koepka.
That's horrible, Joe. Really horrible. Really horrible.
No, we'll get your ticket, Tick.
100%.
2 months ago.
But by the way, are we in the Audi Club or are we in the actual seats?
Currently I'm at LaGuardia. Okay. Currently we're on that show.
That's terrible. It's really terrible, man.
No, if anybody can make it happen, Mikey V's the guy.
That's correct.
Well, but
I have full faith in that.
Make it happen.
Well, no, he's doing it. By the way, I will say, by the way, Bob, devil's advocate here.
Bob
is not exactly.
Has nothing to do with this.
Thank you, Joe.
No,
Bob has
nothing to do with this.
If Bob had pulled
directly on the show,
I want to see the film of that. I swear on my kids, I don't remember talking on the show about
didn't we talk about this already?
I thought we had talked about it, but not on the show. Not on the show, Tick.
But let me just say right now,
I swear to God, I don't.
If Bob had pulled Mikey V aside and was like, "Listen, I need a ticket for the Jet, and I need a ticket for the big
Dick," pulled me aside and said, "Just the Jet." I swear to God. God. And I'm not trying to throw Bob
yeah.
under the bus either. I'm not. I really am not.
Being the fifth man of Bob Does Sports does not get you much, man.
Hey, at least you're you're a preacher of the choir. At least you are a fifth man, okay? I'm still on the fucking JV team. So, how do you like that?
You had a front row seat.
You're sitting in 22-7B, and I'm currently.
It is 22-7B. Yes.
Put it in.
Oh, this is
we are gonna rectify this situation.
Off the air.
So number one, Ticket, we have your spot on the party bus. That is a lead pipe lock. A lead pipe lock. Well, I mean, I wouldn't scoff at that. It's a very nice party bus.
Oh,
well, I'm just saying, why would I not have a ticket but a seat on the party bus?
That's a great question.
This is unbelievable, man.
Oh, this is hysterical. I'm trying to think the last time I enjoyed the Sportsman as much as tonight's episode.
Yeah, dude.
Joe, you're such a fucking fuck. You really are. You really are.
Joe loves not being By the way, Mikey V, I was in the hotel last night where Joe was doing the brilliant.
Okay, by the way, we're in business.
We're in business.
Wait, we're in business. Okay, this is going to be the situation now. Ticket, are you ready? Ticket, are you ready? Where did he go?
He's
here. Fucking here, Mikey V.
Okay,
I know where my ticket went.
Write this down. Write this down.
Write it down, Tick.
What am I writing down? Oh.
Okay, here's the deal, Ticket. Here's the deal. We are 227B row 18.
Yeah.
We have me and you?
No, the whole Audi club.
As an all.
Audi club.
Including not you directly, but you.
Oh my God.
Wait. Tick,
listen.
Ticket, hold on, Tick.
Okay.
Listen,
all right.
listen.
You're right.
I'm trying to advance here. What is Ticket? Okay.
Oh, God.
What's going on here, man?
Oh, no.
Okay, we're back. Wait.
Oh, no.
Why are we not back?
Oh, no.
Hold on.
This guy got us.
Okay. Oh, no, we're back. We're back. We're back.
He's back.
Okay. So 227B. Now, here's the deal, Tick. The row 18 is where all 20 tickets are. You would be row 17, so you would be sitting directly in front of one of us. I don't know who.
That's not that bad.
What are you talking about? It's not bad. It's the same fucking ticket.
Yeah, that's not that bad at all, Tick.
Why are you rubbing your eyes, Tick?
I thought I was a row 18 guy. I thought I was a row.
You're one row in front. You're better.
I just thought I was a row 18 guy. I thought I had a ticket. I thought I was fine. I
tell you what, I'll say this. How about this? I'll sit in the row 17.
Wow.
I swear to God, I will.
That is real class act.
I swear to God, I will. Now, my wife is coming, so she may be upset that we're going to get split up, but that's
fine.
Oh, you don't care about that.
No, I don't care.
Tick, come on, man. Okay,
no, I don't care.
I'll tell you what. I'll sit in the row 17.
Now I'm supposed to feel bad.
Joe, you sit right in front of me.
I'll sit in row 17. I don't give a fuck.
In front of me.
Yeah.
Yo, he made the offer. What am I supposed to feel bad
I'm buying the ticket now, okay?
Yeah, I thought you bought
ticket.
I was with his wife.
Ticket, I'm buying the ticket.
Yeah, I thought I had it 2 months ago, Mikey V. Okay,
it's over. Just buy the ticket.
Now, if you could kindly Venmo me $200, I would also appreciate that. Not for nothing, because I'm buying it right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is it your money? It'll happen at some point.
There it is.
We see it. We see it.
Okay.
Your money will find its way to you at some point.
At some point? I got fucking bills to pay, Ticket.
Yeah, I had a ticket 2 months ago.
Well, apparently not.
Listen, it slipped through the cracks, but it's been addressed.
Your money slipped through the cracks too, pal.
Oh, Mr. Anderson, you got to keep this whole segment in.
Now, I don't know if I can complete the purchase of this ticket with that kind of talk.
Whoa.
Complete the purchase.
I'm gonna get it.
He's gonna get it for you.
It's done.
By the way,
I know. It's done. The thing is the Jet was like, yeah, Mikey V Venmo requested me $200. I was like, oh fuck.
What? Now for the Jet to say that boggles my mind. He texted me asking. He texted me asking me for my Venmo.
Okay.
Oh God, this is unbelievable. This has been maybe my favorite segment of all time on the sport.
I'm hanging out with the Jet the other day, and he goes, "Yeah, Mikey V, I sent him $200 for my ticket." And I go, that's strange. I thought I had a ticket 2 months ago, and I haven't paid Mikey V at all. And Come to find out, don't have a ticket. So
well, that's been rectified.
Actually, you can no longer say that because you do have a ticket. So
Yeah,
you can no longer say that. And now it's apropos that the big ticket gets his ticket when he gets his ticket. Little apropos, if you ask me.
By the way, Mr. Emerson,
V.
leave this entire segment in. This has been fantastic.
I'm going to say Mikey V. I'm normally like a very sweet, very nice guy. And I think you know that about me.
You are 100%.
Yeah.
You're a gentleman. You're a good conversationalist. You're a very good man.
But if you're going to offer me to not be the lone man in 17 as the cast out, I'm going to take it. You offered it.
I'll sit in the fucking cast out seat.
No, you take it, Joe.
Your seat's actually going to be better because then we could have some direct banter back and forth.
Listen, I'll be the fucking scare. I don't care. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be so drunk, I'm not going to know what's going on anyways.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you already know everyone there. Like, I don't know anyone there.
It's a very good possibility that these tickets may not be directly in front of our section.
Oh
no, they are.
Oh, Joe already took the ticket. Joe already took the ticket.
Enjoy the seats, Tick.
All right, boys. All right, let's move on. Now that I fucking have a ticket, we can move on. Yes. Let's move on to something I desperately wanted to get to last week, but we had a long episode last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'll say one thing about us is, like, I feel like we all log on and we're like, fuck, we got to do this. Like, let's just, all right, we'll start talking. And then halfway through, we're giddy, we're laughing. We're like, this is a fun time. And I'm having a fun time. Air, the movie. I mean, I think it's a movie that we all were looking forward to. It's about Michael Jordan. It's about the shoe. It's got Ben Affleck. It's got everything in it. It's got Matt Damon. What couldn't you ask for in a movie? Joe, what'd you think of the film?
Well, I mean, I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Matt Damon was sensational in it. And by the way, Viola Davis, the mom of Michael Jordan, where did Ticket go?
Taking a leak. I'm just trying to see. Oh, good. He shut the door. I was gonna say his unit was his little ticket was about to be hanging out
from one ticket to another.
Yeah,
but all things considered, I thought the movie was excellent. I thought Viola Davis, Michael Jordan's mother, was outstanding. I thought Matt Damon was sensational. Even Ben Affleck, I thought, was very good. I thought the story was very informative because I didn't know to that extent that Nike was that much of like basically an underdog to get Michael, and that he was that much committed to Adidas. I love the movie. I thought it was great. I know Ticket is not a huge fan of this movie, which, by the way, is kind of surprising to me because I know he loves Jason Bateman, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. I thought it was great. Mikey V, did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I watched it, and me and Holly both watched it, and I thought it was fantastic. And actually, the fact that they were able to pull that off, and no one really played the role of Michael Jordan, like Ticket had alluded to. I thought it was still incredible. I did not know the backstory on how ingrained he was with Adidas as opposed to Nike, and how anti-Nike they really made him seem like he fucking hated Nike, which I was not aware of. And I thought it was really, really cool. I thought the acting was excellent. I thought Matt Damon was tremendous. I thought he was so good.
He was so
and
good.
Overall, I thought it was one of the better new movies I'd seen recently. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done.
Ticket
didn't like it.
I'm shocked.
It was deplorable.
I love the back and forth banter.
I thought it was a very well done movie. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very good. I didn't know a lot about the beginnings of Nike. I didn't know about that period. I didn't know what put Nike on the map as far as branching off from a running shoe to a basketball shoe. I'm wearing Nike right now. I mean, we all wear Nike, and Nike is a household name.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan pretty much put them in that space. He took them away from. You got something to say, Mikey V?
No, I'm talking about Jordan. Like when you were talking about Jordan, like the Jordan brand itself is just so it's just iconic. I mean, and everything. It's not even reserved for just basketball. Like, look at these fucking beauties I just scooped up.
Oh wow,
boy! Do Do you and Perez talk shoes a lot? You're a shoe guy.
Yeah, so I texted Perez today a screenshot of that, and I was like, bro, this is because now it's golf shoes. And I'm just like, bro, like this is gonna be a problem. Like I was a big sneakerhead and I stopped because it was getting out of control, and I stopped for years. But now it's like, well, these are not sneakers, they're golf. I mean, I need them to go golfing. You can't go golfing I need golf shoes. So I'm not going to just have one pair. I need a couple options here.
They can easily get to be a problem.
Do you have a shoe closet as big as your wife, Holly?
No.
It sounds like you're coming up on it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we deal with the space we deal with. I have a bunch. So actually, the majority of my nice sneakers are actually still in like storage. They're boxed up in huge like Costco containers in my garage. Like they're not. I don't have them in the house because there's no fucking room. By the way, it's not easy to store size 14 fucking sneakers everywhere. Like that becomes a real problem very quick. Like they're not normal size shoes. They're like this. They're like boats. It's absurd.
Size 14, Melfan syndrome, big man's disease.
Yeah. Elephantitis.
Yeah, exactly. But getting back to the show real quick, and then we can go back to the shoes. I just found Michael Jordan not being a real actor, not having him in the room. There were some moments where I just found it so false, where his mom was talking for him, his dad was mainly his mom, really, Viola Davis.
But maybe that actually happened, Tick.
Can I finish, Joe? And it was his mom was talking for him. And if Matt Damon's character, Sonny Vaccaro,
which he did a fabulous job with.
He did a fantastic job. Michael Jordan would have said a few words, but his mom spoke for him every time. And it was just it made him almost seem like his mom made his shoe career. And I just would have loved an actor to play him and just say a few words. I found it very distracting. I found like they didn't do it in the way that Seinfeld did. A lot of people like to say it was a lot like George Steinbrenner in Seinfeld. I didn't think that it was, because Steinbrenner was hilarious and he did say words. Larry David played George Steinbrenner, and I found it distracting. That being said, I thought it was a very well done movie. If you've ever seen Phil Knight, by the way, he's a hideous man. He doesn't have anything like Ben Affleck. He's not good looking. So that was another false note. But overall, yes, it was a very enjoyable.
I mean, but Ben Affleck looked pretty fucking ugly in the movie, though. He did his best to look like a fucking maniac.
Like Ben Affleck, though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But, I mean, listen, but who knows? Maybe that is the way it went down in those meetings, Ticket. I don't know. Maybe they have historical reference on that. I don't know.
It didn't go down like that. I'm just saying that Jordan had an opinion. He said okay, so there's a moment in the movie where Matt Damon gives one of the best speeches I feel like I've ever heard. I really loved that speech.
Yeah.
That pitch was fantastic.
Oh yeah, the closing.
Matt
pitch.
Damon
that was
really killed it. I mean,
sick.
it was some of the best acting he's done in a long time.
That was sick.
And Jordan said nothing. He said nothing.
But here's my thing is, I feel like Michael, they probably showed it to Michael, and he probably did, they probably discussed and they didn't want somebody to portray him, which by the way shows
probablys in there and ifs in there, Joey D.
Well, do you know how it went down?
No, you know what would have been really cool is if they kept him hidden the whole movie, and then if after Matt Damon said something, then you show him and he's like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, I think it was like the movie obviously pays homage to Michael, and he probably didn't, feel comfortable with maybe having someone play him. So in many ways, maybe they changed the way that it went down, or who knows. But I did say while you were taking a leak in the bathroom, I thought Viola Davis was one of the best parts of that whole movie.
She was awesome. She was awesome.
She always is awesome in anything that she's ever been. She's a great actress.
Love Asklin asks, you get to choose any game from the past to watch live in the best seats. Which game you choosing?
Wow. Any game ever?
And I guess any game. Oh, geez. Mikey V, let's start with you, dude. Let's start with
any game from the past. I get to sit in the seat and watch it.
Yeah. Any seat, any
live.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would probably pick if it wasn't the World Cup final in 2006, I would probably go with the Yankees. I went to ALCS games. Like I've been to like I never went to a World Series game, but ALCS. I would go with Ohio State National Championship 2002, the double overtime game against Miami. That would be a game where I wish I was I wish I was in that stadium for that game when they won in double overtime. That's like as you don't win a national championship in double overtime and your team wins it and you're not there. That has to be my answer. Even over the Bears Super Bowl win, only because that game wasn't a good football game. It was a blowout. They beat the Patriots 42-10, I think, or 42-7. No, 10, 42-10. So that wasn't even an entertaining game whatsoever. So yeah, I would pick that.
Joe?
I'm picking the Packers Super Bowl win over the Pittsburgh Steelers 2010, 2011. It was in Dallas.
That was a good game.
World.
That was a good
great game. Went down to the wire. I mean, anytime you can watch your team that you root for week in, week out win the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup or any kind of championship, to me, that's as good as it gets. If it wasn't that, I think I would have gone with the 2006 World Cup win, Italy over
2006.
Yeah, Italy over France that went into the penalty shootout.
I think
that was sensational.
That had to be fucking wild.
And that was in Germany. That was an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the 1934 game between West Point and no, I guess, to be honest, there's only one game for me, and this will lead into the next question.
Yankees Red Sox, June 10th.
Yeah.
At Yankee Stadium.
You know what? That actually would probably be more satisfying than what I'm about to say. But, the Eagles winning in 2017.
Yeah, bro. What a game that was to see live. A shootout.
Big Dick Nick, baby.
Seeing the Philly special. I mean, Nick Foles. Big Dick Nick. I mean,
what a fucking flop that guy is, though, man. It's amazing. It's amazing how he's forever a legend with the Eagles because of that one run. That's all it takes. Because God knows he fell off the face of the fucking earth after that.
But he did it for them, man.
No, he did. That's what I'm saying. It's just that's how sports works. It's fucking nuts.
No, but Mikey V, the next year he went to the Jaguars and he broke his leg almost immediately. He was actually.
And then he went to the Bears and he sucked dick.
Yeah, it was terrible.
My point is that I thought he had a lot more in him.
I wish he did. I was excited I wish he did when he went to the Bears. I was excited.
Breaking your leg's a tough. You're right. I know he played like shit after that. All right.
I will say one more thing. I will say, Tick, I know you had a hard year this year for sports, but just remember, you and I have been able to watch Super Bowl win from our teams. Mikey V's never had that chance. So I'm forever grateful as a Packers fan to have had that opportunity.
We don't do that.
Mikey V watched a Super Bowl. I mean, he with the great
not a win.
Yeah, with the great Rex Grossman.
I mean, Ticky, you know how tough it is. You just had to endure watching your team lose in the Super Bowl. I don't wish that on anyone.
Well,
it's horrible.
This is a great transition to our next question. Evan says, what are your guys' top 3 saddest sports states or states that have endured the most pain in sports?
I mean, the Cleveland Browns have got to be there.
I'm going to revise that and say not states because California's got all kinds of, and Texas does. Just sports cities. Just what are your top 3 sports cities?
Detroit.
Yeah, sports cities. Mikey V?
Go ahead, Joe was answering already.
I would say that Detroit had the Red Wings, but as a Lions fan, the Detroit Lions have just been, it's got to be tough. Now they're on the rise, which is great, but I would say the Detroit Lions. I'd say Cleveland. I mean, that's a team.
No, the Cavs won eventually.
Yeah, they finally won, but that's a city that's been starved from any kind of success. And then I'm trying to think who else would be.
I'll give you one.
Minnesota. Buffalo. By the way, for all the success that they've had, they've never won the big game. The Sabres have never won the Stanley Cup. They got screwed by Brett Hull and the Dallas Stars with that crease rule when they lost in the fucking Stanley Cup finals. And then how many was it? 4 back to back to back to back Super Bowl losses. I mean, that is tough.
I mean, how about Minnesota, though? No titles with Garnett. Vikings have never won the big one, and they've had some great teams with Randy Moss and Randall Cunningham and all the Purple People Eaters, and they're fucking coming up empty. I think Minnesota is definitely up there. Chicago prior to the Cubs Cubs winning the World Series. I think once that happened, the Blackhawks were tremendous. They had a tremendous run.
Yeah, they were
the
so
Blackhawks.
Good.
And the Bears, I mean, prior to the Super Bowl era, were NFL champions almost every other fucking year. So I can't put Chicago in there as much as I'd like to. But Minnesota, Detroit's a good one, Joe. I don't know. I mean, a lot of teams have won their fair share now. Cleveland, I would agree with Cleveland also.
What do you think, Tick? What would you take?
I'm going to go with Cleveland at number 3. I think that's absolutely a piss poor town. They've had their fair share. I don't love the Detroit pick because between the Red Wings, the Pistons in the 90s, they had some very, very good teams in there.
Tigers won a World Series not that long ago, right?
That's true. Yeah, with Verlander. That's correct. Maybe not.
No, 1984 was their last one.
They didn't win the World Series?
Nope.
I thought they did.
They won 1,000,000 times and they never won.
Really?
They never won. They went in 04, they went in 05, then they went again in 10 and 12. Anyway, a team that or a city that just does not get the credit they deserve is Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia is a piss poor sports town. The Sixers can't get it together. The Phillies were the very first team to 10,000 losses. The very first team, and they were one of the original teams. They were one of the original teams to get 10,000 losses. We have 2 World Series in over 120 seasons. The Sixers have 2 World Championships with Dr. J. And they've been around for
forever,
80 years.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles finally got a Super Bowl in 2017 after a long period. They're one of the original teams too. This is a piss poor, shitty sports town with great people. Great people. And we
I don't know about great people. You guys are notorious for being some of the worst fans.
Working class. We're working class. We're very.
You guys are pieces of shit at the games. You guys fight everybody.
We're passionate.
Ticket.
We're
Stop.
passionate.
Stop.
Oh, you stop.
You're trying to pull the wool over the eyes of a Canadian man, and that's not right because you know goddamn well the Philly fan reputation among the Eastern Seaboard.
Pieces of shit.
They are known as the worst group of fans in all of sports, not because lack of passion. One of the most passionate fan bases, but these people will throw rocks at a 7-year-old if they wear the wrong jersey inside of a stadium. That is a fact.
Passion.
That is a hard, stone cold hard fact.
Passion.
Oh, passion.
We're passionate. We're passionate. We don't want to see 7-year-olds. We don't want to see Santa Claus.
Ticket. You guys made a movie about your team for the Eagles. In what was the movie with Bradley Cooper? No, Bradley Cooper. The movie was
Silver Linings Playbook.
Miracle.
But De Niro. De Niro and Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, so
in the movie they get in a fight. They get in a fight at the game.
Because we're passionate and we don't love. Yeah. I'm just saying that truthfully, objectively, that is a piss poor for as long as they've been around. There have been other markets that have come in and they've won, or maybe they've been piss poor too. But Philadelphia is one of the original cities, one of the original teams. And for as long as we've been playing baseball, hockey, football, and baseball, we suck. We don't win. We don't win like New York does. We don't win like LA does. We don't win like Boston does. We stink. Our record is one of the very worst. But you know what? We show up. And anyway, that's my number 2. Number 1, I think, is Buffalo. Buffalo sucks.
I said Buffalo is probably
very, very worse.
Buffalo's
Jim Kelly going 4 years in a row and still losing. And the Sabres, these people love hockey like no one else.
Yes, they
love
do.
Hockey. That Buffalo is a hockey town.
Buffalo, yeah, man. And by the way, they got They got absolutely robbed of that Stanley Cup, man. That was one of the worst calls. Mikey V, you probably don't know. They used to have a call where if the offensive player skated in the crease, it was kind of like known as interference to the goalie, and they would disallow the goal. Well, the winning goal of the Stanley Cup, Brett Hull scored and was widely in the crease, and they just let it go. And it was one of the worst calls ever. The fact that they didn't take it back, it's just Buffalo, man, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
I agree.
Simple as that, man. It's simple as that.
All right, Mikey B, did you finish your top three?
Yeah.
Were we waiting on another one? Okay. And the last question is, and we'll make this real quick and then we'll get out of here, is who wins in a golf match? Bear down or Ticket?
Well, I mean, this is
Ticket.
Yeah, but I think it's not really fair because Ticket's golfed for a lot longer than Bear Down has.
If he's golfed longer than since February of 2023, the answer is
By the way, I'm just going to go on the record right now before that you can say whatever you want to. This young man put together a spectacle of golf today that I've never seen from. It was like he was outer bodily, like he was sensational. It was fantastic. Really special to watch on his Bob Does Sports first ever video. It was wild.
I'll say this too, is that, you know, you can see potential. And in my eyes, and I've said this a couple times, Bear Down, I think Bear Down has a huge ceiling in golf. I think when he puts it all together and he figures it out, I think this guy is going to be a killer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really do.
Yeah, he's not going to be a Fat Perez, but this guy's going to drive the fuck out of the ball. He's going to be better. I think he's going to be better than you and Bob, to be honest. I think this guy.
Oh, that doesn't take much.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll be long before he's much better.
It'll take a long time.
But he just started. So,
well, the thing is, too, he's not being able to play like 2, 3, 4 times a week.
That's the issue. And every single person I talk to at the golf course is like, they're like, you're not playing 3 times a week. I'm like, I physically can't get here 3
with his kids and everything.
He's like, yeah, no, that'll never work for you. Some old guy told me that. I was like, all right, fair enough. That's fine.
Oh, boy.
All right, boys. Well, that's another edition of the Sportsman. That was a good one. That was a hot one. I don't think Bear Down and I have gotten into it quite like that, but I do have a ticket to the Audi Club. I do.
This is fucking sad.
Keep that in, Mr. Anderson. Keep that segment in.
That is Bear Down Cuz. That is Joey Cold Cuts. I'm the Big Ticket. That's another edition of the Sportsman. Till next week, folks.